Hello everybody, just checking in the one or two times I do a year on this channel. I recorded the 1996 review everything like 4 months ago, and I still intend on uploading that and doing the other years. I'm just getting sidetracked, but it's easy stuff to make and I'm interested in making it. Just I'll get to that when I get to that, but I just want to talk about a few of the Oscar noms. Are all of the ones I'm talking about in this video Oscar noms? I think so. Because I've been watching those for the Oscars. That's tomorrow night. We're going to be doing our yearly commentary on it. That used to be on this channel. Now it's on Matt's. So looking forward to that. But I wanted to just kind of talk about a few of the ones I've seen that I really enjoyed. The first one I want to talk about is Real Pain, which is only up for Best Supporting Actor. And I think that's reasonable. I think that I do like the way the movie was shot. I like the way it was presented. I like the way it was written. I like Jesse Eisenberg's performance too. I do think it's a little weird that Kieran Culkin is being nominated for Best Supporting Actor when I would argue him and Jesse Eisenberg share the spotlight. So it should be like either both of them get nominated for Best Actor, or at least just he gets nominated. I mean, I like Jesse Eisenberg in this, but Kieran Culkin is, that's definitely the best performance, while Jesse Eisenberg, gets a lot of props for writing it, directing it, and doing a good job himself. But yeah, Kieran Culkin makes more sense. I would argue he's not a supporting actor, but if that's the loophole they had to do to give this movie a nomination, I'm happy with that because I absolutely adored it. You're kind of going on this actual tour, this actual Holocaust tour with this group of people, and I kind of grew to like every single one of them for different reasons. But obviously the focus, well, I shouldn't say obviously if you haven't seen it, but if you have seen it, it's obviously the focus is Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin's characters. They're both cousins who, it's like such a rough relationship, and it's so surreal seeing it because I relate to both of them. I relate to Jesse Eisenberg loving this person who has this really eccentric attitude, and at times he just comes up as the coolest guy ever for it, and other times he just says something where you're like, why the fuck would you say that? I've been Jesse Eisenberg in that situation many times throughout my life, and it's not always been with the same person, where I'm envious of this person I'm with because of how easy socializing comes to them, how easy it is, how easy they make it look, at least, and how confident they are and how fearless they are with what they say. But then they also just say something where I'm like, dear God, I wish I wasn't here with you right now. So I related to him, but I there's a little bit of me that relates to Kieran Culkin's character too, because it's just such a, and it's not a good, I don't think he's a good person to relate to, and just in my honest opinion, it's just someone who does not have his shit figured out, and I've been there, and I'm to an extent still there, even though I would say I'm doing better now. But yeah, I just really enjoyed both of them. I found them so endearing, and I thought that the presentation of kind of taking you on this tour with them was really interesting. Fun fact about myself, and I don't know how well I hide this from people. There's a chance that any friend of mine already knows this, but maybe not. I'm a fucking huge crybaby with movies. It is not hard for a movie to make me emotional. It is not hard for a movie to make me tear up. And when I'm in person with my buddies, we're normally watching the dumbest shit. We're normally watching something for Hollow Victories, or for a movie commentary reaction. So normally it's pretty easy to keep myself together during those. But then whenever it's something over Discord, it's I can hide it kind of, but I can't talk because you're gonna, oh my God, if I do, you're gonna hear it in my voice. Last night, just talking about it's gonna get me there too. Last night, because there's the scene that they filmed in an actual concentration camp as part of the tour. And there's just something about that scene that is so haunting and so sad and just so, but if you're gonna film a scene in a concentration camp, that's exactly how it should go. And something I heard behind the scenes was that this is the only fictional movie that is filmed in a real concentration camp. Do I know for sure if that's true? No, but that's what they said. And it makes sense that typically they're not going to let you film, in a concentration camp. It's understandable why that's sensitive, and they don't want you to make a piece of fiction. It's for fictional movies. I'm sure documentaries have shown them plenty of times, but a piece of fiction, it kind of makes sense why they wouldn't want that. But Jesse Eisenberg explained what he wanted to do, and it was very respectful, and it was they were just kind of walking in with the camera slowly, and then they left. There's not really a lot of dialogue in the scene. In fact, in yeah, there's almost no there's like a little bit, there's almost no dialogue in that scene, but that scene is just like, I was like, I turned, because I rewatched it with my dad last night, and I turned to him to say that fun fact, and in the middle of it my voice just cracked, and I was like, I stopped for like 10 seconds because I was like, I'm gonna cry if I so this was definitely one that got, oh my god, Jesus Christ, this is what I'm fucking talking about. And there's other moments in this movie that got me. This is why, oh god, fuck me, fuck off. Okay, all right, I'm good. It got me. This one really got me. I thought the emotions in it were really I was like literally just telling a story about how I like successfully avoided doing this, and now I'm doing it on fucking camera like a fucking baby. Jesus. And it wasn't just that, it's the relationship between these two people. And I gotta show this. I gotta let the raw emotion out. Probably this is probably the most interesting vlog review I've done on the channel. It was also just the bond between these two, and I think this movie hit me at the right time. I think it just really connected with me. Really, fucking Christ, why? Okay. Yeah, it just, that's what it did to me. That's what it fucking did to me. I related to the two characters. I thought about people I knew in my real life that I am worried about, and I have been worried about. And I thought about my own life, and it was a very strong character movie that I would strongly recommend. I heard some people say that there's certain scenes that are very on the nose, and they feel like it could have been like an example of show, don't tell. And, you know, I think it's okay to have that opinion. I don't think you're being heartless if you have that opinion. I don't think you're dumb if you have that opinion. But I can't agree with it, because I think sometimes, maybe, and especially in a case like this with what this movie was trying to do, maybe on the nose is like okay sometimes. Maybe it is okay for a character to just blatantly explain something they're going through, especially because the movie has patience and really doesn't do it until we're already past the halfway point. There's a dinner scene and there's a rooftop scene, and I have to imagine those are the two scenes that people are talking about when they're talking about like the scenes that are like really on the nose, the scenes that are like really like having the characters explain what they're going through and not keeping it very subtle. And it isn't subtle. I agree it's not subtle, but I don't think every movie has to be subtle. I don't think that, like, I even though it's a critique I've given movies before, a lack of subtlety or something being too obvious or something being way too on the nose, I don't think it applies to every movie. And I think sometimes, even if it is on the nose for you, you could be wrong, or at the very least you are going to be wrong in someone else's eyes. I think a good example of this is last year when we did the Oscars, the monologue in Barbie came up, and me, Matt, and I think even Zach were kind of like, yeah, that one was a bit too much on the nose. And I did think it was on the nose because I felt like I was getting a lecture that I saw other movies do better. Like, there's a very similar conversation in the movie Marriage Story, about, you know, like, how women are seen in society, how they're treated, how, you know, how they're expected to behave. And I thought in Marriage Story, I feel like they just like kind of, it's like just one small scene, but it felt like a natural conversation, where in Barbie, I kind of felt like, even though I agree with what's being said, it felt like it was being presented in a way where it was just like, you know, like I said, really on the nose. Like I've just seen other movies handle the same conversation better. But then Mitzi was in the call with us, very much disagreeing with us, saying that we just didn't understand it. And I felt like I did understand it, but I don't think I understood why it connected with them the way it did. And I think one thing that like really kind of like made me back off eventually with that opinion, even though I'm not gonna act like I think this scene's brilliant now, but it's definitely like, I think I could be wrong is what I'm saying, is that every single woman that I know who watched that movie, and I talked about it with them, loved that scene. Both of my sisters loved that scene. My two cousins loved that scene. My mother loved that scene. So it's like, okay, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I think bottom line is I think on the nose isn't inherently a bad thing. That's kind of where I'm coming at. And now I'm having that experience with A Real Pain. And I'm going to move on to a funner movie now. Jeez. This is a fun movie, though, too. It's really funny. Honest to God, I think that the two had great chemistry, and Kieran Culkin, as sad as he can make you, he can also really make, as not only does he make you sad, he makes you fucking infuriated sometimes, but he also makes you laugh, and I think that's kind of the point. I think that's kind of what the big heavy dialogue scenes in that restaurant on the rooftop are kind of really establishing, and kind of really throwing at you, and I mean, I appreciated it. It worked for me. I appreciated that. So The Substance is another one that I absolutely loved. So much fucking fun. So much fucking fun. And it's also, there is commentary. There is a lot of it is kind of just focused on plastic surgery and the horrors not only the horrors it can cause you if you go too far with it, but also how society is going to look at you for doing it. It's like you were pressured so hard to do it. You were people made so many comments about your looks and your appearance, and then you finally do this to make that stop. And then it's like, oh, now you're being shit on for a completely different reason now. And on top of that, if you took it too far, you potentially fucked up your entire body for life. So I think the movie has a little bit of that in there, but a lot of it is just kind of a fun body horror too. And I loved the body horror in this. I just thought every scene in the movie was really cool. It was shot insanely well. The effects in the movie are stellar. Some of the best I've seen in a long time. Very disturbing. Demi Moore is one of my favorite performances of the year. With all of the people who are nominated for Best Actress, she is my favorite. And there's some strong competition. I think I enjoyed all, pretty much all the performances that I've seen, at least. Obviously, the star of Emilia Perez has said some pretty fucked up things, and I'm not going to defend that. But everyone else, I think, that I've seen has done really good. I think the only best actress I need to see still is whoever is in I'm Still Here. I haven't seen that yet. I forget. I don't know the actress's name. I think that one's a foreign film too, so I don't know if I would know the actress's name. Great movie though, The Substance, and I mean I love the sound. I think the sound is really good. I don't think it got nominated for sound. Maybe it did. If it did, it was earned, because the sound editing was really great in the movie. They got a lot of really cool close-ups, and every single one of those really cool detailed close-ups comes with a sound that's just so crisp and clear, and they really played around with it, especially there's so many different scenes where it's switching back and forth between two people and they're waking up, and it's kind of their hearing has to kind of readjust again, so you're just hearing all these echoes, you're hearing all this noise until it finally calms down. It's really cool. And I also think it's just a movie that gets wilder and wilder as it goes on. I have a buddy who told me that he thinks it could have ended 4 different times, and I agree, but I do think it justifies the continuation every single time by getting more outlandish. The makeup on Demi Moore was genuinely outstanding. The performance was good. Not just the how she's reading lines and how she's delivering it, which was great, but just her body language in the movie, because she goes through a lot of transformations in this movie, and there's a lot of different stuff, different things she had to do in this role, and she just knocked it out of the park. My biggest exposure to Demi Moore prior to this movie was probably the movie Striptease. For Hollow Victories. I'm sure I've seen her in something else, but Striptease is the only one that I remember. And that's not the worst thing ever. It's kind of a dumb fun movie, even though I wouldn't really recommend it. It's not that good. But I didn't know she had it in her. She was wonderful in this movie, and it's a really good casting choice too, considering her history. Striptease, kind of funny enough, is kind of a good parallel for this movie, just with she was younger, and it was a movie that really fixated, oh, this is a really attractive woman. This is it kind of the actress in a movie like Striptease is kind of perfect for the star of this movie. I think it's a really smart casting choice. But it wouldn't have mattered if she couldn't deliver what she needed to deliver. And no, she has proven herself as a stellar actress. I hope she can become an Oscar winner. I don't know if she is one, because I don't really have it memorized who has and who hasn't won an Oscar. But if she already won one, fine, give her another one. I think she did a fucking amazing job in this movie, and I just loved everything about it. I think A Real Pain is probably like an 8 out of 10. I loved it. It connected with me, but it's still like, in terms of its presentation, I think it's great for what it is. But it's trying to be a more simple movie. It's never going to be something that I look at and say is one of my favorite movies. It's just going to be a movie I watch and I can say that really connected with me. That meant a lot to me. I really enjoyed it. I'll watch it like I'll definitely watch it again in the future. The Substance is like a perfect movie to me. I loved everything about it. I thought the whole thing was just insane. And it like took me places I didn't expect a movie to ever take me, So yeah, really loved it. That one's a 10. That one, I honest to God, I think I could give it a 10 because I just think everything. The only thing I was like a little off about was Dennis Quaid, even though I was having fun watching. I was like, maybe this is a little too over the top. Like maybe he needs to tone it back a little bit. But then when you make it, like as you get further and further in the movie, it's just like, no, his energy matches the entire thing. Like this, I was like, maybe it's too cartoonish, maybe it's a little too over the top. The whole movie's over the top. He's just early to the party, He's over the top before you realize how crazy it's gonna get. So by the end of the movie, I was like, no, he fits perfectly for this. And it was a fun performance and I enjoyed him a lot. So all around wonderful. I think I'm just gonna leave it at those two for now. I think that's enough rambling about movies today. Check both of those out. Two of my favorites of the year for sure.